Most people think people-pleasing is just kindness, generosity, or being a good person. And that's why so many of us never stop to question it. Because how could being helpful, accommodating, or supportive ever be a bad thing? But if you've lived with the habit of people-pleasing for long enough, you know that it isn't just kindness. It's a pattern, it's a survival strategy, and often it's a quiet kind of self-betrayal that costs you more than you realise. On the surface, it looks like thoughtfulness or selflessness, but if you look deeper, it's usually driven by a quiet fear of letting someone down, of being disliked, or of being seen as less than enough. In today's episode, I want to talk about what it really means to lose yourself while trying to keep everyone else happy. Why we do it, what it's really protecting inside us, and how you can start stepping away from the exhausting cycle. And maybe most importantly, how you can begin to reclaim the version of yourself that isn't always bending, performing, or apologizing just to earn approval. So if you've ever found yourself saying yes when every part of you wanted to say no, if you've ever replayed a conversation in your head over and over again, worried about whether you upset someone, or if you've ever bent yourself into uncomfortable shapes just to avoid conflict, then this episode is for you. Because here's the truth most people never say out loud. People-pleasing is never really about the other person. It's always about you and the hidden fears you're carrying. Think about a simple moment. Imagine a colleague at work asks you to cover a task. You already have a pile of things waiting on your desk. You know you're overwhelmed, but the word yes leaves your mouth before you've even thought it through. They smile, they thank you, and on the outside everything looks fine, but on the inside you're quietly drowning. Later, when you're sitting at home exhausted, you ask yourself why you said yes in the first place. And the answer isn't because you had the time or because you genuinely wanted to. It's because the thought of saying no triggered something in you. Maybe you worried they'd think you're selfish. Maybe you feared that saying no would damage your reputation. Maybe you just couldn't stand the thought of that look of disappointment on their face. That's the hidden machinery behind people-pleasing. It feels automatic, like a reflex, but it's not random. It's a series of tiny choices, silent calculations you barely notice, stacking on top of each other until you've erased your own needs. You convince yourself it wasn't a big deal, that you'll manage, that it's easier to just go along. And those micro-decisions, repeated again and again, quietly shape a life where you're always available to everyone but yourself. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Every time you bend yourself for someone else, you are getting something out of it too. It doesn't look like it at first, but people-pleasing always comes with a payoff. Maybe it's approval, maybe it's that fleeting sense of belonging, maybe it's just the relief of not having to sit with someone else's disappointment. But whatever it is, it's strong enough to keep you stuck in the cycle. Think about the student who tutors half their classmates, even though they desperately need time for their own studies. On the surface, it looks like generosity, but the payoff is safety, the belief that as long as they're useful, they can't be abandoned. Or the partner who never expresses their real opinions in a relationship because they don't want to rock the boat. They tell themselves they're keeping the peace, but the hidden payoff is avoiding the terrifying possibility of rejection. In each case, people-pleasing is a trade-off. You trade away your authenticity for a moment of security, and slowly that trade-off doesn't just shape your behaviour, it shapes your identity. Over time, you start to see yourself as the reliable one, the peacemaker, the person who never makes waves. It sounds noble, and it even wins you praise, but it's also a trap. Because the moment you even think about saying no, or about prioritizing your own needs, you feel a rush of guilt. It feels almost like you're betraying who you are. So, you keep playing the role, even when it leaves you exhausted, resentful, or quietly invisible. Here's the part we don't like to admit. This role often begins early. Many people pleasers grew up in households where love was conditional. Maybe you only got attention when you were obedient or helpful or successful. Maybe you were told not to argue, not to cry, not to make things harder. Somewhere along the way, you learned that love had to be earned, that approval came when you were useful, agreeable, easy. And so, you built your personality around that rule. As an adult, you might not remember the exact moment you learned it, but the script is still running in your head. Don't upset people. Don't take up too much space. Don't be selfish. And the cost of carrying that script is enormous, because every yes you give out of fear, every smile you force when you're actually hurting, every moment you swallow your real opinion, it all adds up to a life where your needs barely exist. You become skilled at reading other people, at anticipating their moods, at softening yourself to fit their expectations. But when someone asks you what you want, what you need, what you truly feel, the answer doesn't come easily. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. And this is why breaking the pattern feels so hard. It isn't just about learning to say no or setting boundaries. It's about confronting the deeper story you've told yourself about your worth. Somewhere inside, you're still carrying the belief that your value lies in making other people comfortable. That love is something you earn by shrinking yourself. And letting go of that belief can feel terrifying because it means stepping into the unknown. Who am I if I'm not the reliable one? Who am I if I stop smoothing over every conflict? Who am I if I'm not always available? The fear is real, because once you stop people-pleasing, you will disappoint people. You will let them down. And when that happens, a part of you will panic. But here's what you'll discover if you stay with the discomfort. The people who truly care about you will still be there. The people who love you don't need you to bend yourself into knots to earn their affection. They love you because of who you are, not because of what you can give them. And the ones who disappear when you stop overgiving, they were never really yours to begin with. People-pleasing doesn't guarantee love. It only guarantees exhaustion. So what does it actually take to break the cycle? It starts smaller than most people think. It looks like pausing before you say yes. It looks like checking in with yourself and asking, do I really want to do this? Or am I just afraid of what will happen if I don't? It looks like tolerating the awkward silence after you say no. It looks like sitting with the possibility that someone might be disappointed in you and realizing the world doesn't fall apart because of it. In the beginning, this feels almost unbearable. Your whole body reacts as if saying no is dangerous. And in a way, your nervous system believes it is, because for years you've trained yourself to equate harmony with safety. But slowly, if you practice, you'll see that nothing catastrophic happens when you put yourself first. Some people will respect you more. Some relationships will deepen, and yes, some connections may fade away. But what you'll gain is the one thing you've been missing all along, the sense that your life actually belongs to you. The truth is, you will disappoint people sometimes, you will let them down, but that doesn't make you unworthy or unkind, it just makes you human. And the more you practice showing up as yourself, messy, imperfect, honest, the more you attract the people who truly see you. And the less you need to perform for the ones who never really did. At the end of the day, people-pleasing is just another way of saying you don't trust that you are enough as you are. But you are. You don't need to shrink yourself, smooth out your edges, or keep giving parts of yourself away just to deserve love. You already are enough. And the moment you start living as though that's true, you'll notice something surprising. The world doesn't collapse when you stop pleasing everyone, but your world, the one inside you, finally begins to expand. That's the end of this episode. Here's what I want you to remember. Saying no to someone else is often the first step in saying yes to yourself, and you deserve that yes. If this message touched something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need the same reminder today. And if you'd like more moments of calm and clarity, follow the quiet mind. You never know whose world you might help expand simply by passing this along.